My F21 boyfriend, M25, told me I'm not as intense. So basically we've been dating for a few months now and we're starting to get pretty serious. A few weeks ago we were talking about where we are at and how we feel towards each other when he told me that the feeling he has with me is not as intense as it used to be with his ex. It's important to say that he was in a pretty unhealthy toxic relationship, from both ends, for a few years, and I think what he intended to say was that he feels calmer and more at ease with me. However, his choice of words really stuck with me. It made me feel like his feelings for me aren't as strong, like he doesn't desire me as much or as if I'm less intriguing. I know that the relationship with his ex-girlfriend was indeed very intense. He has told me himself that it was all either very low lows or very high highs. So knowing this, I think that I understand what he was trying to say, but somehow that whole thing doesn't sit right with me. So my question is, do people who come out of toxic relationships tend to find healthier partners boring or uninteresting? Can't decide whether I'm overreacting or what he said was a self-report. Edit. I want to clarify a few things I saw people bring up in the comments. The reason I know a lot about his past relationship is that we first became friends when we met, and the topic of conversation for both of us was often mental health and deeper issues in general. Later we started dating and we're in our 5th month. The relationship with his ex ended around a year before we met. He went into therapy after the relationship, ended up getting diagnosed with a bunch of things, and is currently on his journey to self-discovery. I've been supporting him through it all, and I think that's why he told me what he did in the first place. When we were having the conversation in question, I asked him immediately what he meant by less intense, and he said he feels more comfortable and more at ease. Later he asked me if what he said bothered me, and at the time I didn't think I was bothered. However, in the days since, I've found myself often replaying his words in my mind, and that's why I turned to Reddit. I didn't want to bring it up again and have him reassure me again, as I know he would, if I can solve the issue myself. I'm not going to fly off the handle or go at him based on people's opinions in the comments. I wanted to know what people have to say about the situation, as I'm doing what's up to me to accept and realize the meaning of his words. Consider my question more like a consultation and not me looking for directions. I've only been in one serious relationship before him, and it was a healthy one. It ended gracefully and I'm still on good terms with my ex. Therefore I have no idea what he is experiencing, and I think there's only so much insight he's willing to give before he might feel his words could hurt me. However, I will of course only trust his words when it comes to our relationship. I tend to focus more on what they say about themselves and less about what they think of their old partners. How much accountability does he take for staying in that relationship? Or does he blame it entirely on his partner? A guy who can take responsibility even when it reveals uglier parts of themselves is someone who you can trust when they say they are into you. Someone who just blames the crazy ex is often being dishonest with themselves, and it's not so easy to believe how they feel about you. He was trauma bonded more than likely. That shit is intense for all the wrong reasons. I take that as a good thing. Life with you is more calm and predictable and secure and safe. That's better than always being on edge or waiting for the other shoe to drop or walking on eggshells. That's the way I took it anyway. Did you ask him to clarify? I dated a man who would regularly talk about the high he got from the roller coaster of his previous relationship. The lows were really bad, but he would say he missed the heroin-like love he got from her when they were in a good place. I tried to remind him that their relationship was toxic and dangerous. She used to throw things at him, hit him. What we had was stable and normal. After nearly 2 years, he ended it with me because he didn't get that intensity with me that he got with her. He didn't know how to be in a stable relationship. You're young, he might be able to get through this and recognize what's happening. My 23F partner, 29M, was tested positive for chlamydia, but not me. Did he cheat? My partner, 29M, and I, 23F, have been doing long distance for a little over a month. We've been dating for 5 months. When he was in town for about 3 months, we were going at it and there were no issues. He takes off and heads back to Australia, and about 2 weeks later he tells me that he's getting the symptoms, and got tested positive for chlamydia. We were both 110% convinced he must have gotten it from me, though I had no symptoms, because he claims that he hasn't been with anyone else, and before me, it had been years since he'd been with someone, while I had been with my exes before he came along. I had been freaking out, until my tests came back and they were negative. This was the second test I've done this year which was negative. What's the verdict? Could he have cheated in that small time frame or? Update. I'm coming from the point of view where I know very little about chlamydia, and some comments have pointed out that it may have been something that flared up after years of being dormant, which I do appreciate and might be the case. It's definitely a good point to bring up, and I'm glad some commenters were open to sharing what they know on this topic from their experiences. Again, I still can't be too sure what the case is here, and I'm glad some here are being supportive in the event that this is a case of cheating, worst case scenario but highly unlikely, and that there have been no hate comments. I am gonna trust my guy since we have definitely been discussing this and he's not someone who would do these things. For extra precaution, I'm gonna do a test again to see if a different result pops up, and he's gonna speak with the doc to see if there was a potential misdiagnosis, as the symptoms he got were pretty mild compared to other people I've known who's gotten chlamydia. Hey, female to female, you will need to get checked again about 2 months from your sexual encounter with him. He may have given it to you and it may not yet be detectable now. Please get retested and do a vaginal swab, not p-test, around the 2-month mark. Yes. Men often have no symptoms, so someone told him to go and get tested. You're clearly negative, so he didn't get it from you. If you're negative, there is no possible way he got it from you. The fact that he's blaming you is annoying. It is absolutely not possible for him to have gotten it from you, so tell him to cut the shit. He likely still will insist it's you, but it's obvious he got it from someone who isn't you. When was the last time he was tested? Had he had a negative test at the beginning or during the relationship? He's lying. He screwed someone when he got back home. He needs to admit it. And you need to run. My 30F husband, 29M, is an angel and I can't stand him. First of all, I do love my husband. I love how kind he is, I love how caring and funny he is. However, he is driving me fucking insane. He is always around. Is this normal? I have never had a normal relationship. I come from a very abusive past. He is home before I get home from work. Every single day. He never goes out with friends. We have opposite days off, but he gets off early on the days I have off. I work a lot more than he does, which drives me up a wall because most of our finances depends on me. Sorry, this post is all over the place, but I am just so overwhelmed. He says the same sayings over and over and over again. I'm eating my breakfast right now and I knew when I saw him coming up to me he was going to say, "Ooh, waffle girl," on a high-pitched voice. I braced myself as he opened his mouth, and yes, that is exactly what happened. How do you get used to having a shadow? How do you get used to never having a night home alone again? How do you get used to knowing exactly which of their 3 sayings your partner is going to say? Please help before I ruin a marriage with the sweetest man I have ever met. Edit. After reading a lot of the comments, I want to say thank you to everyone who helped me see that wanting and needing alone time is normal and healthy. I appreciate and love my husband so fucking much, so thank you for showing me that love isn't any less just because I'm an introvert. To the people who said divorce or he deserves better, you have made me even more certain I am so thankful for an understanding husband who knows I love him with everything in me and would never give up on me for needing alone time. I show him love every day and always take care of him to the best of my ability. Why did you get married? This is an issue with men around 30. We stop having our own lives for some reason. Make him join a sports league or take up something outdoors. You realize you are allowed to have some alone time and space in a relationship? We all need our alone time. Make him realize that, and if he cannot understand it, seek professional help. Alone time is critical. This is entirely too much togetherness. My so started working from home during COVID and never went back. He's here when I leave, he's here when I come home. He has no friends, interests or hobbies and apparently doesn't care to go anywhere. Ever. It's not that you don't like your husband. That much another person just, there all the time is frustrating. I have no advice, but I see you and I feel your pain. My boyfriend, 20M, thinks the earth is flat. Should I, 18F, break up with him? So, my boyfriend has always been a massive conspiracy theorist, thinking COVID was fake and stuff like that. This will make sense later. He was brought up in a Christian household, but for as long as I've known him he hasn't cared about religion at all. But all of a sudden, he's purchased a Bible, started going to church on Sundays, won't say the Lord's name in vain, and keeps saying that premarital sex is sin. Every now and then, something will come up that kind of relates to religion or conspiracies and he will just call me stupid, brainwashed or a sheep, but he's like unbelievably rude about it. He totally believes the world is flat and that we can't go to Antarctica because it's actually the wall preventing us from falling off of the flat Earth. I will always respect his beliefs and everything that he wants to live by. I don't believe in God or anything, have always believed in science, but as soon as he starts calling me stupid, brainwashed and a sheep, I'm just like WTF? And it really upsets me when he calls me these things, because once he starts talking about his conspiracies, he gets fixated on them and doesn't stop. I don't know what to do. We live 5 hours from each other, but this comes up so much and it just makes me uncomfortable at this point. He's so stubborn and nothing will change his point of view, and that's fine, but damn. I do not need to be shit on for having my own beliefs and views. Rolling on the floor laughing. I am very confused why you are still together. You're 18. You have your entire life ahead of you to have to deal with crazy assholes. Don't purposely attach yourself to one. He's a nutter. He's also 5 hours away. It's not like you'll ever run into him accidentally in the supermarket. Let him disappear into his rabbit hole of conspiracy theories all on his own. So he doesn't attend to your sexual needs, believes in nonsense, calls you stupid and lives 5 hours away? Sounds like a catch. Dude. You're 18. Cut this off yesterday. Lol. At the bare minimum he's disrespectful to you and verbally abusive. That alone is a red flag. Can we all just agree to not date crazies, please? If you stick around and decide to have kids, do you think his craziness will allow your children to be raised to be safe, healthy and happy people? You need a boyfriend who treats you as a partner, an equal. Not this loony and his family.